somewhere? It's gone. You had it in the pile to go out. Hello, hello.
Good afternoon. Well, it's 3 o'clock here, so good afternoon.
Miss Ayana C., welcome to the broadcast.
Thank you. I appreciate you adding me to the team.
Yes, we are waiting for our all-star Miss Donatella to join us. She is, I think she's doing some beautification treatments as we
Yeah,
speak.
today was a rough day. Today,
Yes, 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 yes,
there was a
yes,
lot going on.
yes, yes, yes. So,
More,
so we're actually trying out a new broadcast system. I'm actually at home. Usually, I broadcast from the restaurant, but I had some things that I had to do today that we're going to um, talk about later.
hmm
Uh, that prevented me from being able to be at the restaurant. But I hope I look good in my house and my backdrop. You
Well, I'm
know,
at the house. My backdrop.
you looking good. You looking good. You know.
Look, I did some things and I was like, okay. And last night we practiced and it was like, okay, I could set my background up. So I got a green wall over here, but the backdrop won't come. So I had to pull the thing that was on my door off. See the green?
Well,
Look,
listen.
there's the green
Well,
stuff. So
I always say there's always next week.
oh look.
There's always next week. So we'll get. Hey, your mic went out. Your mic went out. I don't know why your mic went out. What'd you do? There you go. It's
Nothing.
back on. It's
Oh,
back
I
on
I
now.
didn't do anything, I
Yeah,
promise.
yeah, yeah. Your mic went out. So yes. So now let's get back into the conversation. Well, to all that don't know, Miss Iana is a very, very good friend of mine, as all the guests that are featured on Journeys from Lagos to Brooklyn. But she's a special guest because I've known her a very, 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 very long time.
You gonna date us? Can they see the
Yes,
gray
yes.
hair?
Just
You
can
gonna
I
date
give a
us?
little background? So, you know, when I came back to the U.S. From Nigeria in 1988, my parents enrolled me in this obscure little high school in Manhattan. Yeah, just by the water. Like when you get to New
In the
York,
cut. In the cut.
you hear Brooklyn Tech, you hear Bronx Side, you hear all these other
You
schools,
gotta take a test for
Lehman,
that, bro. You gotta take a
and
test for that.
and they're like, oh, where'd you go? MCSM, the Rams. They're like, who? Where?
Manhattan Center for Science and Mathematics. Thank you
So
very much.
thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. So this very small, obscure school actually has great talent. There's a great school, and that's where I spent my high school years before journeying off to Howard University. And there, Miss Ayana was our class president. Very, very vocal leader, and just I've been a fan. I've been admiring her leadership from those young tender days, and throughout the years, she's just maintained her leadership of our class. We just had our what? How many year
30th.
reunion? 30th?
30th.
Oh
Yes.
my God! So we just had our reunion here in NYC, and hold on. All right, and so I'm on my phone. So this thing, I gotta multitask here,
As we
and
all do.
yes, because people ringing my phone. I'm trying to be on the live. You know how it goes. So
Yes.
we were talking. I was like, I haven't been on the show for a while, and there's just so much going on in this world, and I've just taken a break. I just don't know how to come back to the show. And I said, and she said, well, I would be interested in coming on. I said, you know what? You might be exactly what we need to reignite that passion, that fire to get back on with all that is going on into the world. So, like I said before, welcome to the fold.
Such a pleasure.
You
Can I
know,
say something? So let me tell you,
absolutely. The
let
floor
me
is
tell the world.
yours.
Everybody knows you. Everybody already knows you, but
That
I
is
get
not
to
true.
I get to know you a little differently. But let me tell you, if you have not been to the restaurant and just
Oh,
supported my
see,
boy.
that's
And
the
I gotta
first
say
rule.
that.
That's the first rule
No,
we
no.
don't do. We do not promote the restaurant on this
I
channel.
didn't
We
say the
do not.
name. Well, how do you not promote the restaurant and you be
We
in the
don't. We
restaurant with
just don't.
Amarachi? I
We
just
don't.
said come and see. Okay, I won't from this point forward, but I'm new. We're gonna charge it to my head, not my heart. My point of this is we did our 25th reunion. He's the hostess with the mostest. We did our 30th reunion. He is the hostess with the mostest. My classmates hold me accountable. One of our classmates asked me, did you sign a blood oath when you became president in 1990?
Exactly.
And I was like, no, I didn't. But they still say, Prez, what we gonna do? We gonna do
It,
something. What we
it,
gonna do?
it's
And
just a great group of people.
it's a small group and it's a quality
Yes.
group. It's always
Yeah.
quality over quantity.
Yes.
And I'm very, very comfortable with that. But it makes it easier when you have teammates like that dude sitting over there. So I won't say the name of the restaurant, but that's where we get to have the most fun because
Look,
he's in
you know,
charge.
and this particular year. So the backstory was, when you contacted me about it early in the year, I was really not certain if I was
Mm-hmm.
even going to be in the country,
Mm-hmm.
because I don't know, I don't know how many people know, but I'm literally involved with creating Amarachi in Nigeria right now, and we're doing a lot of construction, we're doing a lot of work, and I knew at some point I'll be leaving to go, you know, make sure, it's coming out the way I envisioned it. So I was like, yeah, I don't know if I'll be in town if we did this thing, this year. So I'm not sure. So it was really like a last minute thing when I kind of calculated, like, okay, we're actually gonna be here. So let's
You
just
was
go ahead with it.
whoever you believe in, whatever God that is. I was just like, thank you, thank
Yes, yes,
you,
yes,
thank
yes.
you. It was
So
so perfect, so
and
perfect.
and for me, I haven't been in a restaurant. I'm never in the restaurant late at night anymore. I used to be there all day, all night. As we've grown older, we've matured. We got babies. Babies getting older. Wife, kind of likes me a little bit more nowadays, so she wants me around more. So, I had to give up being in the restaurant all day, all night. So it was nice to actually be there, hanging out, enjoying the DJ. We have a great DJ on Saturdays, by the way.
Oh my
And
God.
the same, and that wonderful group of people came out, and we had a good time as we always do. So, kudos to you. Once again. So, as we're still waiting for Donna, I was trying to buy her some time before we get into the meat and potatoes of our conversation today. But I would like to start off the conversation by asking, um, how are you feeling right now? In the state of the country, the state, of affairs, your personal affairs, like how are you generally, what's your outlook right now? Oh, yeah, I think you froze. I think you froze. I think Miss Ayana froze. So let's have her come back in. So I'm gonna talk about my general um, outlook right now. Since okay, you're back.
Yo,
Okay,
so
you're
look,
back.
look. So you home, I'm home. It's 3 o'clock where I am, and this real life, y'all, for real, for real. The 13-year-old calls from her friend's phone and says, I left my phone at the school, mommy. So I can't track her because I'm on this call. I'm like, call your daddy. Like, so that's what just happened. Like real life,
Got it.
because I'm on my cell
Because
phone instead of my
and this
laptop.
how we do it. And this is how we do it. We're not getting paid for this. We don't have no super big budget. So people just got to work with us. They just got to work with us.
It'll be better. It'll get greater later.
It'll get better. Exactly.
It'll get greater
Exactly. That
later.
is the point. So like I was asking, I was saying, what is your general outlook right now on the world that we're living in right now? How are you? How do
Ooh.
you? What do you feel about the presidency? What do you feel about the state of the country? I'm just going to give you a big wide net to just kind of speak on it, and then we'll go into dissecting one by one certain issues I want to talk about.
Oh, that's so huge. I'm glad this is 2021 because if this question was in 2020, you might have to bleep me out
Yes.
because it would be a different conversation. But the state of the country, it is so destructive at this point. It's like we're so close to imploding that I'm a little concerned. And I have tons of faith and, all these things, but real life is real life. And my accent might sound a little different, but I live in Texas, in Dallas, Texas. Now it's a blue county, but this is a red state.
Mm.
So I get a view of it differently than those who don't live in a red state or in the South or is a true minority all the time. So the state of the state is there's a lot more work to be done. I am so overly involved with my children because I don't trust anybody. Thankfully, I go to a really good school where a lot of people look like us, but it's a quality school, we're a quality board. But because of how the country is running right now, you got to be real mindful of what's being fed to your children.
Yes.
First of all, because I'm strong enough to handle this craziness. My kid wasn't raised in a city like me. Wasn't raised in the projects. They're a little soft. You know what I'm saying? So just a little.
No, it's not their fault. It's not
It's
their
not that.
fault.
Oh no,
It's
it's
your
definitely mama's.
success. It's your success that got them there. It's not
So
their fault.
so I try to be as rough as I can on them because when they hit the world, it's gonna be a whole different thing, and they see it. Right now, like today, it's so many different emotions going on. It's 9/11 is coming up. And I remember that day just like a whole lot of you out there. And I was in Texas and my grandma was in New York and you couldn't call, couldn't reach her. And she was working at the polls. Friends were down there when the buildings were collapsing and just all these different things. So that emotion is running rampant with me right now. And I'm watching this with my kids and they're asking questions and I got to tie it to Afghanistan, which President Biden made the decision he made. Honestly, we should not be there. And everyone wants to blame the elected president, duly elected president. However, he did not make that agreement. And he also did not think the Afghan army would shut down. So that's a whole different thing, when you make decisions. But true leaders take responsibility, and hopefully he will say it enough. And I'm a leader. Be accountable for what you do, and you move on. If y'all want to hold on to that, you hold on to that. You drink the Kool-Aid, you move on. So it's
Just a
just
quick question: are you
sure.
all experiencing any type of inflation in Texas?
In the grocery store, definitely.
Okay.
I,
Okay.
I'm a I'm a shopper. I got 3 kids and a husband, and my sister and my niece live with me. And the way the food prices were before COVID and where they are now are not the same. And then there's not a lot of stuff either. It's still like not as plentiful as it was, or maybe it is, it just leaves fast. Um, and there are like certain things that I know that I used to buy all the time, and I could see the price change. Like,
Yeah.
oh my goodness! So inflation on that. Gas is cheaper. I'm not going to complain about gas because it's cheaper down here than it is
So
where you are.
did it spike up due to Ida at all?
Oh my, we're
Uh,
so it's about, again, remember where we are. 289, 279, 289 right now. For us, that is ridiculous. Like in February, it was 219,
wow.
209. So it
Wow.
has definitely climbed. But inflation has definitely hit us on everything. It's just not what it was. I don't blame that. I mean, I blame that on COVID. I blame that on now the businesses are taking advantage of it, to me.
A
And
lot of
so
friends of Yeah, a lot of friends of mine moved to Texas this year. A lot of families. I'll say that. A lot
mhm.
of families. And I wanted to find out what is the situation with schooling and how is what are you do you have any mandates? Do you have any
Good question.
changes that are different this school year than times past?
So Texas is wide open, free and clear. You can do whatever you want. We've been able to do whatever we want since May of 2020. Our governor, duly
Wait.
elected.
Hold on. Are people dying in the streets? Do you have like dead people from sprawled out, because you
Mm,
guys are open? Are people dying? Is there a
no,
pandemic? Are
they're not
hospitals
dying.
shut down?
They're not
Are
dying.
all the
It doesn't
hospital
matter.
beds taken?
Yes,
Okay.
yes, definitely. It did slide down, up until this Delta variant, whatever, variant came out. But
Okay.
in um So I remember, I have friends who work for the county judge in Dallas, and she had a break for a little while because she's been living this nightmare for the entire time. And we were certain businesses didn't go back, like they just started going back in certain places, but people are not dying in the street, no.
Okay.
But tons of kids have gotten infected because we don't have a mask mandate, because the governor says do what you want to do. So I may not be for mandating vaccines, but mandating children who can't get a vaccine if they choose to, or mandating just wearing masks in school is the minimum that you could do to protect my child. So like I have to have conversations with my child. Do not take your mask off. Do not, because I have an 8-year-old. Do not take your mask off. Do not take your mask off.
So in the classrooms, it's optional for kids to wear masks or not?
It's not a requirement because it's in our district, it's not. Other districts have sued the governor, so their schools are mandating masks. Teachers are still holding them accountable. So if my child goes to school with a mask, the teacher's going to say, keep your mask on. But it's not a requirement because the governor has done what he does.
Now, I wanted to find out also severity of sick illnesses with the children. Are they're getting infected? How bad are the cases in the hospitals? Are these kids like in intensive care? Are they
I see there no
to...
there in most I'll be happy to share with you. Most of the children's hospitals and the children's beds in hospitals are all full, and they have to make a decision. So if they have to make a decision on how they take you in, so it may take you 6 hours to get seen for something like your appendix burst because there's no bed for you in the hospital here.
Is that simply because of COVID or just in general, just all the different diseases that are going on? Okay.
No, it's definitely COVID.
And do you know how long these kids are staying? Like the average length of
I don't know
stay
the
in the
average
hospital?
length. I don't know that. I do know this. So in my district, we get email, and you guys just went back to school recently, right? Like this week or next
Actually
week?
today.
Today, okay.
Teachers and administrators went in today, and so the kids will be in Monday.
We've been in school since August 12th. Okay, so we get daily reports. This is how many at this school. So I have 3 children in 3 different schools: high school, middle school, and elementary school. Nice. So we get reports from no, you'll be there one day. But we get reports like this school has this many cases reported, and not all cases reported. Parents might just keep their kids home. They might not test them. So this many. At my son's school, his English teacher was out. She was vaccinated. She was out, but she didn't wear a mask in class. She made her kids wear a mask, but she didn't wear a mask. She was out 12 days because she got it, and you're not supposed to get it bad, but hers turned into pneumonia. So she had to extend her stay. In that class, 6 other kids got it. In my son's class, other kids got it. So I protect my son not just by wearing a mask. We take zinc, vitamin D, vitamin C, you name it. I'm pouring it down their throats every morning.
Absolutely.
I'm like, so I cannot afford to emotionally afford for anything to happen, especially to my 8-year-old. Now we're vaccinated. I know how you feel. I love you and you love me. So we're not going to, do you ain't sick.
Look,
and I had COVID too.
Am I not doing a good job of just,
you're doing a great job.
broaching this subject? Dude, I didn't just come out guns blazing, shooting everything down.
I am very proud of you. I am so No, but that was a decision, and I was like, for a while, like, I don't want that vaccine. It came out too fast, and I did some research, just like everybody else does research. And the woman that helped make this thing 10 years ago was a Black woman, and I read, and I was like, okay, I'm still not comfortable. But I didn't do it I had COVID in October, so I waited a long time because when I got COVID, who did I call?
Yeah.
Yes, and I was like, what I need
Dr. COVID himself.
What I need to take? You like, do this and do this. Get some oil of oregano, baby. That was the worst thing ever, but I coughed one time.
Hey, you know what I'm saying? Listen, it does what it got to do.
I coughed once. My lips was nasty, but it coughed once. But my point of that, I mean,
and I will never ask someone to take something I haven't tried first. That's the other thing.
You warned me, but when I recommend that to people now, I'm like, listen to me. That is the worst thing you will probably ever put in your mouth that is supposed to make you feel better. Like, trust me. And I've recommended it and they were like, it worked, it worked, it worked. So you
Okay,
see,
I
you
think
see
we have
her.
a yeah,
Okay, good, good, good.
I think we coming in, we coming in hot. We coming in hot.
Whoop, whoop,
We coming in
whoop.
hot, Donna.
Hello.
Hey
Hello,
there.
hello, welcome.
You know, wow. So if I tell you where I am, let me apologize for joining you late. I had an eye appointment and they are so gracious here. I have to say their name now, Bling Lash, that they kicked employees out of their kitchen.
Oh my God.
Oh my
uh,
gosh.
so that
To accommodate you and your show.
I could join my.
You are such a superstar. You see why I hang out? You see why I hang out with Donatella?
Look, I'm snapping it up, sis. Come through.
Can you see my lashes?
Oh wow. You
Did
are
you put
too
them on in
much.
the kitchen?
That's actually what I was doing. I was getting my lashes done, and they
Oh, I thought you were getting a suntan when I saw you earlier. I was like, why are you naked?
nature wants to rain on my parade. So I have this sweater dress on from 2009 with a shawl because
Yeah.
right from where I am, they're doing Essence Fashion Week. So I wanted to,
Oh, okay, okay.
which I got all about Fashion Week. I mean, I'm not a fashion person, but they
But you're a
said,
media person. You're an outdoor person. So you're a socialite. You know, you should these things should not pass you. I found out this morning watching News 11. I watch Channel 11 religiously every day now.
oh, Channel 11 is the same as Pix 11.
Pix 11. There you go. There you
Yeah.
go. Pix 11. I used to watch Fox 5, but I just deemed them a little bit too,
Yes.
you know, yeah, yeah. I don't
When I
even know
was in
the.
New York, I
I,
only watched ABC. When I was there for
well,
home,
well, you see, that's for intelligent people like you. You know,
yeah, I
y'all,
only
don't,
watched ABC.
y'all bougie people watching ABC,
I was like,
CBS, NBC. Yeah, I stick to the local jokels.
no, I'm talking about Channel 7 in New York
I
City.
know, I
That's
know.
my,
They got
since I
Michael
was a
Strahan and
baby.
all them boys on there.
Since
Yeah,
I was
yeah.
a baby, that was all I watched. And so in Texas, that's what I watched too.
Okay, okay, okay. So you stay consistent.
I'll tell that I learned about ABC as well. Their vice president of diversity, the person who's charged of diversity, hiring all the brown stuff. Well, this probably makes brown people. This makes sense. Is a brown brother.
Oh,
So
Yep.
that's a good start.
yeah, they actually have someone who's in charge of you know um, promoting and building, hiring all the black and brown
People.
people.
But you know what? That just speaks to Disney. One thing I know about Disney, just from
Mm-hmm.
visiting that complex, is they do it the right way.
Mm-hmm.
They are very detailed, very, you know, I mean, everything they do is legit. Like they research what they do, they put a lot of time, they invest a lot. So you may disagree with some things here or there, but for the
Mm-hmm.
most part, they play it straight as to the best that they can. To
In
the best
media.
that they can.
Yeah.
I mean, I remember what stuck out for me. They had an African restaurant in Disney,
Really?
and oh my God, when I said that was the best African restaurant I've ever been to, including Amarachi, like I listen, I dreamed to be able to do something like that, just from the art,
Was that
Wow.
the decor, the menu, the food,
Was it Epcot?
everything. No, it was all in Orlando.
wait, where okay, so when was
So
this?
this was at least JoJo was a little baby. This was like 7, 8 years ago.
Okay,
So
okay.
yeah, we went in there and it's inside the park. Like, they have like that area, the jungle, the safari. You gotta go into the safari.
The safari side. Okay,
Yeah,
okay,
you
okay.
gotta go into the safari and it's right in the safari.
I
Mm.
answer, am I now offended? The African restaurants in the jungle, I guess this makes sense, but then that's tied into the Africa I knew as a little kid, which isn't really.
No, but it's dope. It's dope. Trust me. It's not like, you know, you don't have little pygmies running around and you know, it leaves. It's nothing like that. It's done very well.
I believe you because
And the
Disney.
music too, you know, the music, everything was on point.
Well, I grew up in, for the most part, a single parent home, but before, I guess before my parents separated, I went to Disney World at least, I think, twice before they separated, or the second time they were already separated. I don't remember. But my favorite thing as a kid, besides the Disney characters, was how animated and how real everything was. And my favorite thing was there's a location, a song called "It's a Small World."
Yeah.
And when you entered into "It's a Small World," you literally was sat in a little boat, and yes, you went around and you saw
all the
these.
cultures.
I am gonna go look for the footage. Well, I'm gonna call my mom because I'm sure it's at her house, and I'm only able to visit once a year right now during the pandemic. Oh, that whisper. This sound is so good. We heard that whisper.
My son is, you know, the ladies left out to go run an errand, so you know my son can't leave me by himself, so I had to send him a little message, you know.
So the kids just keep walking in. I keep waving when y'all see me do this because they like sticking their
Okay,
head in my office. I'm well, like,
exactly. Exactly. And I'm trying to do the whole thing in reverse. So it's like when I'm trying to go right, I really mean left when you're on camera.
right.
And Donna, your camera keeps shaking. Are you holding your phone?
I am, and every
Okay.
time funny, I laugh. Hence why it's
Okay,
muted.
so I'll try not to crack too many jokes today.
Oh well, you bet we're gonna be shaking like an earthquake in a little while.
Oh, and I feel like if I put it down, you're gonna be looking up to me.
So Donna, I asked Diana, basically her outlook, like on what's going on right now in the world. So I'm gonna pose the same question to you. How do you feel about Biden? How do you feel about the state of affairs, the economy, employment, um,
Oh,
vaccines, all that? What's going on? What's going on in your world right now?
all of a sudden it just got very warm in here with that question. And if we wouldn't get sued, I would play that Jeopardy music in the um
You know.
so I think that's a great question. And I would have to say that I'm gonna borrow a mantra from my favorite president, Obama, right? And say that I feel hopeful, right? Um, we've had change, and then we had the little orange monster, and now, we have Biden, but I feel like there's so much going on. So let me tackle what I'm most passionate about, and that's vaccinations first, right? So I am fully vaccinated. I used to say double vaccinated, which is technically incorrect, but it was important, I think, to specify that I've had both of my shots, right? Because in New York, I think they kind of fooled us with the numbers when we get excited about how many people actually been vaccinated, because they used to talk about, like last year during the pandemic, right? We had high numbers of people going out and our numbers were blah, blah, blah. And if you pay attention, somewhere in the mix, they went from talking about people fully vaccinated to people who've had at least one shot. And I feel like this is why a lot of people don't trust the process of what's happening, is that I think a lot of topics have been massaged to give a better appearance than what they actually are. So earlier this year, you had a lot of people going out to get vaccinated. And if you're familiar, you take one shot and then 3 weeks later, you get your second shot. Well, after the issues that happened with the Johnson and Johnson, right? So you had people who were being reported dying after having their shots. You had women who were reporting a higher rates of stillbirths after they had been vaccinated. And then you had, you know, just the other side, the conspiracy.
Miscarriages, a lot of miscarriages too.
Yeah, yeah, miscarriages. You had a lot of, then you have the misinformation, all that stuff. And then you have just people who are like, hey, let me use my common sense and think about how much time has it taken in the past for you to come up with a vaccine? And what's the likelihood that you really created a vaccine in X amount of months that's now safe to give out? Because it wasn't FDA approved, right? So you had all of that going on. And in New York, there was an abrupt stop of people going to get their second shots. So if you go back and you look at the data, when they report our numbers in New York City, they're not talking about people who are fully vaccinated. They're talking about people who've had at least one shot. And if we remember, having at least one shot doesn't protect you from anything, right? So for me, I've had quite a few friends recently in the last couple of weeks that I've talked to who've caught the Delta variant. And one young man, I had to salute him. He's probably in his early 30s. I would say he's maybe 31, 32. Past weekend was Labor Day, right? The Labor Day celebrations.
Mhm.
He went to all those fetes and did all kinds of things. And on Monday, he went live on his Instagram to say that he was very, 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 very sick last year with COVID. Very, very sick. He actually thought he was going to die. And so he talked about it then, but he survived. And like a lot of people, he started doing things and all kinds of other things. So he was against having being vaccinated, right? So he's always vaccinated. He found out this weekend that he caught the Delta variant while he's outside, I guess. And so he did the responsible thing. He came on his live and he said he thought that was the fastest way to try to get in touch with people he had been around, right? Because he went and took a test on Monday and he tested positive. Now, he said he was sick, but not like before. And then he showed some vitamin C products and stuff like that. So for me, I feel hopeful that people who want to get vaccinated are getting vaccinated. I feel sad that some people are facing losing their jobs. I think that is really, really unfair, right? You've worked so many years, and now all of a sudden here comes this vaccination, and now they can take your job away, which makes me wonder, does that mean people are going to lose their pensions? They're going to lose their benefits? When it comes to Biden, I have to tell you, because we haven't been talking so much, I haven't really paid close attention to what he's actually been doing, right? And for me to have enough of an intelligent comment. I feel like he is representing my vote he earned pretty well. And now I'll have to go back and look at it now that I said that. I don't know. I feel pretty good. I don't know if we're masking the news. I haven't heard about a lot of violent things that are happening to our young boys and girls in the news, much as I did last year. But I'm wondering if that's not because social media a couple of months ago came out with a new way to massage the content that you see, right? So right now, Instagram decided to run through all the content that's uploaded, and they automatically, whatever they deem to be sensitive or maybe abusive to the community, they no longer allow it to come down your feed, right? They automatically put a censorship on all of the content. So unless you go into your settings and take it off, you may notice that you no longer see a lot of things that you used to, right? So that's problematic. And then the last thing, I think we're past the stage of really having any type of privacy. So there's a report out from the UK that WhatsApp, which has always been popular for people to use because it's it's safe. They're not eavesdropping on your conversations. It's encrypted, blah, blah, blah. There's a new finding out that says that Facebook and WhatsApp have hired at least 1,000 employees, and their only focus is to sit and read your messages from the server side.
I'm sorry.
Absolutely. And so, and
Yikes.
this just
And report them to whatever agencies are appropriate.
to report them to the DOJ. That's exactly. So
FBI and DOJ. Mm-hmm.
So what you have to think about is, and now I'm playing it back in my head. Every time you have received one of those, the security pin for such and so's account has changed, because that happens a lot, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I know people are not getting new phones. I immediately posted the story on my WhatsApp, and that's because, I have a very diverse set of friends, and I got friends who cheat on their spouses, who think they can do it in WhatsApp, and nothing's gonna happen. I've got friends who I think have questionable careers and they do a lot of stuff through WhatsApp. And so now you really have to ask yourself, when you're using WhatsApp and you share an image or you forward a message, if you look in the statistics of your profile, it will tell you you have 800 pictures or 1,000 pictures in your WhatsApp. Now, I'm a technologist. Common sense has always told me, if my data is sitting on a server, and goodness gracious, Facebook, Apple, Facebook, and how what's his name? Young guy's name?
Zuckerman?
Yeah, Zuckerman.
Zuckerberg.
Yeah.
Zuckerman.
Zuckerberg.
Zuckerberg.
Yeah, because I'm calling him Zucker because he, and I shouldn't say that really, but he complies with local government very easy. So he gets a subpoena, your stuff is gone. He doesn't try to fight it the way Apple does, right? So Apple will still, I don't think they've still given in to the fact that when the police get your iPhone, that they crack it open for them, right? I don't think Apple products still do that.
So just to piggyback on, earlier back in the day, in our conspiracy theorist lounges, it was well known that Mr. Zuckerberg was brought up to be an informant. So he's always going to work with the authorities in handing over any incriminating evidence they need. His whole app is built. This whole Facebook was designed after 9/11 to infiltrate the security network. So basically, this is part of Homeland Security, where we are actually voluntarily giving all of our information, our location, what we're doing, and this is what it was designed to do. So he has always been the head of it. So that's just a old school conspiracy theorist. But I want to answer my own question by starting telling you all that I was vaccinated today. But
no, you weren't.
It wasn't for COVID. I was vaccinated for typhoid and yellow fever. Yellow fever is something you do once and it's good for the rest of your life. Typhoid is something you have to do every 2 years. Why do I do this? Because I'm traveling.
Right. And so
we'll be leaving.
It's interesting that you only did those two, because when I went to the same place that you're going to, and I on my Instagram before I left, there was a whole list of shots that they told me were mandatory that I had to take. Which came to something like $1,300. And being stubborn American, I was like,
okay, so Donald, first of all, they are in business to get your money. These clinics. I went to a tropical medical center. This is what they do. You're going to South Asia. You're going to Africa. You go in South America. You got to come over there. and they'll give you the buffet of of the
Wow.
buffet menu of what you need to take. But you can tell what you need urgently and what is just in case. It's like you're buying insurance, you know what I'm saying? What are the chances of getting this, So you
So did
gotta
you
you
spend
gotta
$1,300? Did you get all those shots?
let me tell you something. I spent a lot of money because I did five.
You got the whole yeah, you did. I'm talking
Five.
about her. I got five.
I
I
spent a
understand.
lot of money today, but because the health insurance don't cover these stuff. But I didn't spend $1,300 a piece though. So I'll tell you that much.
Wasn't $1,300 a piece?
No, but it can get up there. That's why I say I agree with you. It can get, we just had to say, well, we're gonna take this one, we're gonna think about that one, we're gonna come back for this one. And then there are also pills, like malaria pills and some other stuff that you have to. So they have the updated information now is that for Nigeria, at least, we used to take the malaria pill once a week, 7 days before and 7 days after. So now they have a pill you take daily, and you don't have to start 7 days prior. So that's really cool. I thought that was cool. But, you got to take it. You can't forget to take your pills every day. So you take it every day, you're good. So once we get those tickets, I'll be going back to get some pills.
I got a question.
Yeah, go ahead. Go ahead, sis.
To you, when are you, wait, not when are you, is the country going to let you back in because you don't have a, or you don't want to come back? Yeah, I'm just gonna call it. It is. So yeah, explain that to me.
Okay. So this is how I see things. This country at one time, the propaganda was beautiful. And if you were here in 83, 84, Michael Jackson, Pepsi days, oh my God, how could you not want to be an American?
Baby, I'm 48.
How could you not want to be an American? Like it was popping, right? Yeah. And then crack and HIV came and destroyed all of that. And everything been downhill ever since. But and then back then you think of the Gestapo, Soviet Union. You can't do this, you can't do that, you can't do the other. Those are those guys, right? Mm-hmm. We're now in a time where the Soviet Union has a more, I would say, lenient, cerebral way of dealing with human beings and our complexities than the United States of America. The United States of America wants to treat everyone like a number. And we're just going to run roughshod over how you feel, what you think, and what you want to do because it's what we think we should do, or because it's polling properly, or whatever. My choice is gone. Unless I live in a state like yours. Unless I live in a state like yours or Florida.
My choice is gone as a woman, even though I don't need the services.
And that's the other problem, because you see, that's the thing. I found myself leaning to red states. But then again, you understand red states are the hotbed for racism.
Yes.
And they don't just speak it, they live it. They pass legislation to enforce it, to perpetuate it. So there is no real safe place for me here anymore.
So you leaving and you're not coming back.
There's really no safe place for me here. And you know why? Because I'm tired of fighting with people. Look, I feel horrible that so many people, and this is the new thing, a lot of people are regretting they took the vaccine. I feel horrible for the people that regretted taking it.
No.
Because let me land now. Because they felt, I'm not talking about people like y'all. I'm not talking about y'all. Y'all took it because y'all reasons. I'm talking about people that took it simply because they needed a paycheck. They were not going to take it until they came for their living.
But that's what you do with anything. Now, those people, I can understand them regretting it because they never wanted to take it. But they don't.
That's what I said. I feel bad for them. I didn't say I felt bad for y'all because y'all believe in what y'all believe.
But so here's the thing.
I still wouldn't want to be forced to take it. I mean, it's not.
So, but that's what I'm saying. I feel bad for anyone that feels they were coerced. It's like those kids when they get arrested and they're sitting in the precinct and they say they did it. They were forced to say they did it, and then 20 years later or a year later, they come out and say they never did it. Well, they were forced. They were going to take this. They were going to do this. They felt threatened. They felt coerced, so they had to. So we have people like that now that feel that they have to take this thing, otherwise they're going to lose their employment, they're going to lose their money, and they are vehemently against it.
But you still have.
That's a tough pill to swallow.
Have a choice.
Have a choice.
I know they do, but if when you're in the system and you're used to and you're living check to check, paycheck to paycheck, it takes a while to quit one job and find another job, especially when you're not going to find many jobs where they're not going to mandate a vaccine. Where are you going to go? So you stop working there. Where are you going to go? MTA? No, you can't go there. You're going to go sanitation? You can't go there. You're going to go to the hospital? You can't go there.
Here's the thing, right? You do have a choice. People can pack up, they can leave like you. It's kind of like the old sentiment that used to bother me as an American. All of the people who were from other countries who used to say, oh, I hate America, while they're standing in America. You have a choice. You can go back where you came from. You can quit your job. And mind you, right, I only feel this way probably because I didn't die. No one in my family has died from taking the vaccination. And I also believe that the way the media spins things is also harmful. So every time there's a video viral now of a white female with all types of blood clots in her mouth. And it's only like so many minutes long. It's very short. And so in there, she says, and I'm listening to the vernacular. In there, she says, she's, for me, it's all dramatized. She's in a doctor's office, can't really see anything, but she's kind of dressed like a influencer. So she's very cute, white female, and she's showing these blood clots in her mouth, and she goes, "Oh, I just got jabbed yesterday, and this is what's happening," right? So she's showing everything. I believe that some things are true, and I think that other things are just set out there just to perpetuate more confusion, right? So no one in my family who has been vaccinated. I think we have both Pfizer and what's the other one? Moderna.
Moderna.
Right? And I could say I had a choice as well, because I talked to some of my girlfriends and they were like, my parents are at that age group that they're high risk, and we wanted to go visit, and my parents said, you're not going to come if you're not vaccinated. And I realized, even my youngest brother kind of said he was vaccinated at one point, and we realized he wasn't. It took his shot. So it's a horrible.
That's why they mandating it.
Yeah, but and what was scarier though, my youngest brother was working as a pastry chef in a nursing home, and so I'm trying to figure out how were you not mandated? So they give you this out that they give people now. You can get vaccinated, and I'm gonna use Delta Airlines because I know the policy they just implemented. You can get vaccinated and it's all good, or you say that you're going to take a COVID test once a week while you're in contact with people. Now, Delta has just mandated that their employees are going to lose $400 per pay period from their paychecks to cover their
cost of the COVID test.
Today they've actually ramped it up. They're actually putting them on unpaid leave.
Not Delta. Is that Delta or United?
I think it was one of them. I know I saw it today.
I don't think that was.
They said they're putting them on unpaid. So here, and this is why I have a problem with this thing is because go ahead.
This is what I think is going to happen. All of this dramatic stuff is happening. You know why? They're about to send us back inside for the winter.
That's what we know, and you're 100% correct.
Not in Texas.
Well, you guys never inside. That's part of the problem.
No, we were inside for 2 months, Okay, wait. Part of the problem is this: if you're not vaccinated, wear a mask.
And they're not
Wear a mask. And because people are not responsible and don't think about their neighbor, that's
See,
why
okay,
things are having to
Anyana,
be mandated.
let me
No,
tell you. No, hold on. I'm not disagreeing with you, but this is what you have to be careful how we spread this thing. What's happening now are people that are vaccinated because they feel they've been vaccinated don't understand they're still transmitting the
but
virus. So
feel and
it's not just the
read.
unvaccinated that should be masked.
No,
If you believe
everybody
in masks,
should.
there you go.
Everybody should. I totally
There
agree with
you
that.
go. If you're gonna say mask
But
work,
if you're
everyone
not
has to wear
vaccinated,
masks.
if you're
Everyone.
not vaccinated and you are not wearing a mask, see, that's the thing. First of all, they never said
But what
vaccinated
if you?
people.
But listen, it's the same thing. Even if you're not vaccinated, you see, that's why I say it's not a good argument because we're still leaving out those with antibodies. We're still leaving out those with some kind of immunity. So what I'm saying is we have to have a conversation with everyone and
that's
find a solution that works for everybody.
There's not going to be one size fits all.
but that's not
It's
even
There can be.
Right.
But listen, America is not. Is not. Listen, there are countries that are not going through what America is going through. You know that, right?
because we're free and we fight over the
No, you're
craziest
not
things.
free.
And
No, you're
people,
not free.
do you remember?
If you look at Israel, go
Bub,
ahead.
do you remember last year that there were people, and I'm not going to say the color of their skin, who was outside protesting in front of the governor's house in Michigan, saying, I don't want to do this, I don't want to do that. That's because we're in America. That stuff wasn't allowed in other countries.
What I'm trying to explain to you is that there are countries that have a higher vaccination rate than the U.S. and their COVID numbers are worse than the U.S. What do you blame that on?
Okay, so
what country?
Go look at Israel.
Stop for a second.
Israel.
Stop for a second, Bub, because all right, if you're gonna go back and look at things, the biggest problem in my opinion for us in the United States is the misinformation that was given out starting from
in January of 2020.
So let's, and this is my opinion of how everything's just trickled out like idiots, right? So when everything first came out, you had this president, nobody liked him, but they still listened to him, who said, oh, this doesn't have anything to do with us. This is China. It's not affecting us, right? Then you had, and I'm trying to remember who it was, but you had the first person who came out and said, because the people who were dying in the beginning were these rich, eccentric white people. And the reason why the first couple of people who reported, if you think about it, use your brain, were non-Black, is because at that time, those were the highest numbers of people who were traveling to Europe and different places. So they caught it. And I'm a strong believer that the government says it started in March, but if you use your brain and you think about what you were hearing that was happening from
November,
December
of 19.
Even as early as I would say September, if you go back and look, people were dying of COVID then, but in small doses. Because the doctor that came out, that was in November. The doctor who started talking about it. That's when it.
So wait, hold on. Let me put a pin right there. I work for the travel industry, and our properties in Asia, China, started closing quick. November 1st, November 2nd, November, it was like boom, boom. And so my workload became tremendous. So when it became massive, when it became out to the masses, it was in November. So when January came, I was like, this is some major stuff.
Right.
And so that's why I'm trying to, like, it became massive. So I agree with you. I just wanted to give just regular people understand, I saw it coming.
Yeah. So that happened. So then the big thing was this idiot who we have to go back and figure out who came in and said, this is not a Black person's disease. So
my God.
It wasn't a person per se. It was the video. Remember the video in China with the Black guy?
I don't remember what the source was, and I hate to give misinformation, but whatever it was, it trickled out. And then on social media, there was a whole outbreak and a whole.
They were showing the continent of Africa had no cases, but things like that.
there was a whole multimedia challenge, right? Social media challenge where people started creating memes and creating TikToks of how this wasn't a Black person's disease, right? So then you have all these people not paying attention. By the time it really started impacting us, and the way I would feed into it as a conspiracy theorist, you're talking about March, April, we started seeing people around us, like next to us, catching COVID, right? But because the high risk people were in the older age, it, for a lot of people I talked to, it made sense that, oh, the government's trying to kill us off, because they were taking our wisdom. So it was the grandmothers, the grandfathers, the great aunts and uncles.
You're forgetting Social Security there. That's the biggest number one thing a conspiracy theory is going to talk about. All the money in Social Security they don't have to pay.
I get it, but that ties in with the age group that you're taking out, right? So I get the whole conspiracy stuff, but for me, I'm just talking about, how we got into this mess with the mask. At the same time, and I'm just talking about the people that I know, when they first started talking about wearing the mask, immediately Black and brown people were like, I'm not wearing it. It's not killing us. It's not doing whatever. And then from March until May, it was just utter, just, I can't even say the words. The amount of people dying, coming down.
And no, please do not say that without mentioning ventilators. That's what killed the people.
I didn't get there yet, right? Now, for me and you, because we had our podcast that started immediately, and we were part of what I want to say is a pandemic cell. So we were doing Zooms for 10 and 20 hours straight at time with doctors, nurses, scientists, and all types of people. And what became very prevalent for us, and I think a lot of people didn't see, that a lot of deaths were people getting sick with COVID, and there were a lot of deaths, unnecessary deaths, in my opinion, based because of fear, because you didn't have enough PPE. So you had stupid people running to get toilet tissue, everybody buying masks. I spent over $1,000 myself getting masks sent in from Korea through the lovely people who are helping me right now to my podcast. Like, this is my friend's business. And we just were outside at our 30 something, and that whole line of people who are fitness people, right? Who I'm not staying inside. I'm not wearing a mask. Meanwhile, they're going around infecting everyone else. And the nurses that we talked to, they basically told us, and I'll say a name, Brookdale was really bad with it. They were saying that they were working with nurses who refused to go into someone's room once they were in the ICU. And remember,
it wasn't just Brookdale.
I know, but that one particular I know because a friend of mine had to beg her mom to stop doing overtime. And her mom was like a nurse of like 32, 33 years. She was going in and doing extra hours because she knew that there were nurses who weren't feeding their patients, right? They were just scared to go into the rooms. And the isolation that they put around people once they were marked with COVID. Think about when your family member goes to the hospital for a regular thing. You know that you got to be on top of the nurse to make sure that they're turning them so they don't get bed sores, that they're feeding them, they're cleaning them, those kind of things. Now you have COVID where everybody's terrified and no one's allowed to go into the hospital. You have no idea. In my head, I think a lot of these people died once they went on the ventilators. The nurses and the doctors didn't know how to use the ventilators. They didn't have that kind of training. So what was it called? It was incubation?
Intubation.
So once people became intubated, I know, very, very low percentage of people who ever came off of them. So the ventilator had a lot to do with a lot of the death.
But you're right. Let me just make these 2 points real quick. One is obviously I got vaccinated, right? So a lot of people that are not taking the vaccine, they're not anti-vaxxers. It's exactly what you said. The information that we're getting from the top, we do not trust and we do not believe. Because if we believe the information, What's wrong with just boom, 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 and we're good? But it's obviously there's something that is not sitting right with us. And one of the unsung heroes to this entire pandemic has been our community that went on Facebook and did these, like you said, these cell pocket Zooms, informing people on how to survive COVID. Survive, and it saved many lives. Many lives. This government, not for one day, came out and said, this is what, if you get COVID, this is what we need you to do. They ain't did that. They're still allowing us to run around in confusion.
Yeah, but that's a whole nother thing. You know that medicine, and I'm talking about drugs that you have to take to treat things, that's a multi-billion-dollar business. So
but no, I'm not even talking about drugs. I'm talking about protocol, right? Protocol. When Fauci one day says wear masks, and then the next day says, "Oh, I didn't really mean that." You got us confused, bro. Like you got us confused.
Trump too. A lot of that was Trump.
But that's what it's Trump too. Absolutely. So that's what I'm saying.
You don't have to wear them.
That is the misinformation. What we're saying, where you're telling everybody to wear masks, but you look at the White House, nobody got a mask on. Like who the hell? Like what the hell are we supposed to believe here?
Okay. Time out. So this is my thing on that. I was wearing a mask in February before they told us to wear masks because go away. Hold on, because I'm sorry, that was the coach. I was wearing a mask on planes. I flew the entire COVID. As you know, Buck, Dad had diabetic cancer. He lived in Miami. Before
your volume went down.
Oh, hold on.
And I'm gonna have to come out soon because these poor people are not eating their lunch because
there we go. I'm sorry. Hold on. Before
you were talking about you wearing
a mask on a plane. I was the only one on the plane 2 times in February and March before they put us on lockdown that had a mask on. I'm sorry. Some things are just common sense to me. I know everybody don't have it, but when my dad had cancer, right? So I was trying to make sure that whatever was out there, flu, COVID, whatever it was, that I did not transmit it to him, right?
Absolutely.
So, and I started looking for masks in February and I couldn't find it. I was like, what's going on? So I went on Facebook and my friends who work in the medical industry was like, here, go take some to your dad when you go there, blah, 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 blah. But that was just a little bit of common sense to me because in China, they wear masks all the time.
Yeah, that's more like, Koreans.
Or Korea. Yeah. But they wear them in China too, they do as well. But they wear them constantly because of whatever. But it was like, cover your face. People were arguing with me when I was like, I need to find this. You don't need this. You don't need this. I called them out to this day when I was like, you remember this? Because they wrote on my Facebook page. So when that popped up this year, I screenshot. I said, remember you said this to me? And they were like,
and I'll maintain that I wear masks because it makes me feel better. Honestly, I'm telling you, I don't think it is proven to stop COVID. I'm not going to say I wear masks because I believe I'm stopping anything. I wear masks simply because I feel like I'm preventing. I feel like I'm preventing the spread to someone else, and also I feel like I'm protecting myself. I'm confident enough to say that as a personal choice. But what I'm saying is I can't. Looking at the evidence, I can't say whether they work or not, and that's neither here nor there.
But I believe, and that's what I'm saying. When I was the only one that had COVID, and 6 other people in my home did not get it, I wore a mask and I was isolated. I wore a mask when I walked around my house when they were asleep. I wiped everything down. And I came back to my office, and that's where I lived. They covering your mouth when you cough and when you sneeze.
I'm not disagreeing with you. I am not disagreeing with you. I am not disagreeing with. And like I said, I listen. Whatever helps the process, right? A mask is very different than injecting yourself with stuff you do not understand, or we do not understand. And that is the problem, that I'm disappointed that people think it's okay for people to just acquiesce and park their intelligence, their personal beliefs down and just take something because they said so when they have a history to back up the mistrust. So why would I? So don't get on me for not trusting you. You show yourself to be a thief all this time. What have you done to show yourself to not be a thief?
So
Why would
first,
I trust you now?
but first,
So that is the huge problem this country has to deal with, and unfortunately, I don't see it getting better. I don't
no,
see
it's going to
I
get
don't see the
great.
process getting better because we're not looking to solve this thing civilly. We're looking to make war. We're looking to make enemies. We're looking to demean and shame people for
No,
not
no,
listening. No,
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 we
no, no,
are.
no.
Listen, we're unemployed. We're taking away their jobs. We're taking
You know why we're taking away a job? So let's be honest here, right? You're talking about
because you're forcing them to take. You want them to
no.
take it.
That's because you people did not listen in the beginning. So
It's not that people not listening. Okay, talk to me then. Talk to me. Don't let's not use people. Talk to me. Tell me what I didn't do.
if you ever stop,
Talk to me because I'm one of those people that's gonna lose their jobs.
so Bub, right? I love you passionately, and I listen to the way you talk about using the mask. The problem with that I was trying to make earlier about the vaccination and why we're at the point that we're at, right? So the first campaign was supposed to be based on herd immunity.
Hmm.
If the majority of people get vaccinated, it will
Hmm.
protect those who are weaker. And by majority, we're talking about getting 2 shots, right? So
Hmm.
majority of people went and got vaccinated and they got 2 shots because of the amount of people who would be fully protected, it would cover other people. So first of all, that didn't happen. And they announced it. And this is what people are not paying attention to. Fauci came out one day and said, okay, herd immunity is not going to help in these different areas because there's such a low turnout for full vaccination. So then they said, okay, we can't get people to get fully vaccinated. Let's concentrate on getting people to get at least 1 shot. That's what happened in New York. Go back to the masks, right? First of all, you couldn't get people to stay inside when there was a mandate to stay inside. Um, and especially in certain age groups. You had some people who were much older who like, I live my life, I'm going outside. You had a lot of people between the ages of 25,
Donna, I hear what you're saying, but
35.
you're going back in circles. What I'm saying
Let
is,
me finish,
you got to give me a solution to this
I'm trying
problem,
to.
Donna.
I'm letting you know though, you yourself did not do the full thing that was asked, and which is
What
why
to get a vaccine?
you're not listening. If ever you listen, I will finish.
What I'm asking you, what is it? What did I not do? You keep going around. What did I not
You
do?
did. You just talked about the wearing of the mask, right?
Hmm.
So and the fact that these people have a history of lying. You don't have to tell me about the history of lying. I'm a Black female from
Okay,
Alabama.
so
So
what
I
did
know
I
all
do
about.
not do? What did
But
I not do?
you yourself didn't even wear the mask the way you were supposed to.
But I wear it.
No, wearing it the way you're supposed to contributes to the fact that now there's so many other issues. So here's the thing: if let's say in your household, right? If you try the nice way to
What
get
did I just? Okay, what
family
did I just
members,
explain to you? I
if
just told you. I just told you though. I do not believe.
I
I
know
told you the science does not
point.
support it. But
You're
what
not
I'm telling
listening.
you,
You're not
I do because
listening.
it
You're not
feels good.
listening. You're not listening. You cannot talk about science because you did not do what science said in order to protect yourself. So
No,
they didn't
but
wear the
and you're
mask.
not understanding that science does not. My
Let
whole
me
Woo woo
point.
finish.
woo.
No, Donna.
Woo
My
Let
woo
whole
woo.
me
point.
finish.
The whole point is
Let
science
me
does not
finish.
prove mass
Let me
work.
finish.
You
It
got to go do the
absolutely does.
research.
But doctors wear
Can I
masks all the
finish what I'm
time,
saying?
Bub.
It does
Can
not
I
stop
finish?
COVID.
Can I finish what I'm saying? Because
Those
I
little
have
5 cent
done.
masks is not stopping COVID,
You're
Ayana. I'm
not
telling you.
listening. You're not listening. The
Go
problem
ahead.
I'm going to show it you, Bub, right? Huh. Okay. Ayana brought up the fact of what she knows about masks when it comes to China and Asia. The history of the mask, if you look, is that because of some outbreak many hundreds of years ago in Asia, whenever someone, and I'll speak about Korea, which is what I actually researched, they are taught from young no matter when you get sick, no matter what kind of cold it is, you wear a mask to, number one, prevent yourself from infecting someone else and to keep the germs to yourself. Now, it's not 1,000% guaranteed that someone else won't get sick, but if there's a practice, every time you leave your house, you're wearing a mask. After a certain amount of time, you change that mask so that mask still works, right? You don't allow the mask to get wet. If that were happening, the numbers would have been lower. And what I'm trying to tell you is, from the beginning of the process, we never did that. So here in America, the statistics do not show that wearing a mask helps keep the spread of anything, because we were not doing it. But if you're in a place like Korea,
Donatella, can I remind you that they said the N95 mask, the PPP, they wanted it for the first responders. Regular people, they were not enough for regular people.
You were supposed to get a K95.
The K95, is K95 better than the N95? Let me ask you. Is the N95 or K, which one's better? No, you're not answering my question. Which one's better? The K95, no, I'm asking you. No, just answer yes or no. K95 or N95?
Stop talking.
Answer the question.
Stop talking.
Answer the question.
K95
is better than N95?
And that's why it was for the first responders. But an
N95,
N95 is under, the K.
Exactly.
Let me finish. If you stop talking, I can have my thought process and not give misinformation. Right?
Okay, go ahead.
So the N95 is what doctors and nurses have worn throughout the history of being a doctor and nurse when they do surgery. That is dedicated.
Why is that?
For our first responder, because that is the most protective mask. Right?
Was it available to you last year in March?
Yes. And
it wasn't even available. It was barely
available. Thank you. It was not available, Donna. Nobody had $1,000 to send to Korea. It was not available.
Listen to me. Stop talking. Don't tell me what I did, because you're gonna.
You said you did it. You said you spent $1,000 getting the N95.
Listen to me. Right? Yeah. I ordered masks from Texas, and I will give you the young lady's name. There's a Nigerian woman in Texas that owns a fabric store, right? She also was bringing in masks from Asia, but she also had N95. So remember, N95s were available for everyone in the beginning. Nobody was buying. Because let me finish. Mm-hmm. They wear N95s on a daily basis in the construction industry for the people who work in those areas where they need to filter their air. So it's not my fault that everybody's not as intelligent as me, and then sit down and say, how much do I love myself and my family? Let me find where to get them. So I bought N95s until the government said stop. I bought N95s from the construction industry, from hardware stores, and I ordered them online. Now, the lady who owns this business said to me, Donatella, you don't have to have an N95. You can have KN95s, which they also announced here in America. But by that time, people were already fighting the fact that they didn't want to wear masks in the first place, right? And I gave out tons of KN95 masks. Your local 911 NYPD was also giving out KN95 masks. KN95s and N95s. So my point is, right, if we had, which we did not, if everyone had worn a mask in the beginning, like we were asked, the numbers would have been lower.
And I completely disagree. After 10 minutes of saying the same thing over again. And then next week, I'm going to show you the numbers. I'm going to show you how effective each mask is against protecting. I'm going to show you the science, because you don't want to believe the science.
But guess what?
K95 does not stop COVID.
Everybody. See, this is the thing that you're talking about. You're stuck on COVID. KN95.
That's what we're talking about.
No, but that's not what they said. That is not what they said. They never
said what about what? We're having a pandemic about COVID. Why are we talking about? What are we talking about? Anything else?
Because what you're doing is the same reason why there's so many people who have misinformation. Right?
No, that's not what I'm doing. You're misinforming people, telling people K95s can stop COVID.
Well, then tell me how come everybody I gave a mask to never got sick?
Oh, really?
So time out.
That's what we're gonna go on. We're gonna go on your intrinsic study.
Pause. Time out.
We're gonna go on your study.
But go on. But let's go on real life studies.
The
Go on
mask
real
was
life.
not to stop COVID. It's to stop the spread of disease. It's to stop the spread of disease, and you cannot
Why are
stop
we
the spread
talking
of
about? We're
disease.
talking about. Let's
So
stick to
time out.
COVID.
Okay.
Let's stick to COVID.
But I flew on planes in COVID. Did y'all? I'm just
I
saying.
did. Yeah, I
And
did.
so I had 20 flights from July until probably it was more than 20 until December 18th when I returned back here, and I flew again in the springtime. I wore N95 mask. I wore K95 mask. I wore anything. I wore my sorority mask that had filters in it. I wore anything. I was literally in an airport for hours upon hours upon hours, crowded. You couldn't do 6 feet. They got rid of that middle seat really quickly. The only thing, I was more safe there with all those people who had on masks than anywhere else. I did not get COVID.
Except for the people wearing costume masks. Don't forget that.
But the plane, the airport would be like, here you go, and they would give them another mask. So I was more safe in a confined place with everyone there wearing a mask than I was in Walmart because everybody wasn't wearing a mask.
Ayana, real quick, right? I remember when you called me when you caught COVID. Right?
And
Where
I took
did
my
you catch
mask
it?
off. I in a house. My sorority sister's husband passed away, not from COVID. He had been in a hospital and been sick. We went over to console her. I had a mask on. I took my mask off to eat and drink, and I put my mask on. Other people did not have on a mask. And one of my sororities, she's not my sorority sister, my best friend, we were exactly the same because that's the one that worked for the county judge. She took it off. We ate at the same time. We put it back in. The viral load in that house was so heavy that we were a super spreader.
Yep.
But here's the thing: those of us that had on masks didn't get the same amount of viral load. Yeah. So I didn't get as super sick as some of my other friends who got it at the same time because I had a mask on.
And once again, let's understand what we're saying. I'm saying a mask cannot stop COVID.
It can if it's properly worn. If it's properly worn.
Okay, look. Let's do this. Let's do ourselves a favor and actually do some research.
I was on a plane.
Look, let's do ourselves. I'm not talking about what we do. I say let us do the work and do the research, guys. Please, Ayana. So Ayana, I want you to get on the internet and look at what science says about masks. Just look at the science. That's all I'm asking you to do. And if your theory supports it, show it. That's fine. All I'm saying is, guys,
I got COVID because I took my mask off.
Ayana, what you're explaining is exactly what all of, even though we're not talking about our governor because he's no longer our governor, one of the primary things they said, and I'm glad you used that term, super spreader, and you gave the example how you kept it on, but you took it off when you ate. And this is the part that Bud will not acknowledge, right?
What don't I acknowledge, Donatella?
This is exactly
What don't I acknowledge, Donatella?
This is exactly what the governor and Fauci said at that time, right? He will not acknowledge the point that you're trying to make about the level of infection that you had versus the other people in the party because you were using the mask. Now, they said to make sure that whole event that you all were having, which is what I hate about Texas or whatever state you were in, there were not supposed to be any events, right?
But it wasn't. For the record, wait. No. Because my friends see this. Yeah, I have to correct it. It wasn't an event. He died that day. We went over. We gave her a hug. It might have been.
When I say event,
okay. I was like, it wasn't a funeral. It wasn't anything like that. I don't mean
a planned event.
It might have been 10 people in the house.
Let me finish then.
But just say it right, because my people might see this.
I'm changing the word to suit you, but it's the same thing. Event is just something happens. A
gathering.
Right? Well, that's the same thing, right? So there weren't supposed to be any of those in our state laws over 5 people. But they only said that because at first they said small gatherings were okay, and people here in New York were still having a lot of people, right? So the example you gave fits exactly what they said, that there should not be situations where there are multiple people outside of your direct bubble, where there's not a lot of ventilation. And if you're in a house, even if it has air conditioning, you're breathing in what other people are breathing out. And then that's when they went to 6 and 18 feet. And they also said, during the pandemic at the height, that being 6 feet away was the minimal. That was not just the requested, because people were just having a fit. But a sneeze could travel up to 18 feet, right? And it goes in all different directions. So I'm saying that I get exactly what you're saying, which is what was told to us, right? When you take off your mask, and then remember, we were supposed to be wearing mask and protective eyewear. So I bought all kinds of glasses because, not only does it go in your nostril and your mouth, but it also goes in your eyeball. Now, Bub, I know you didn't wear glasses at all for COVID.
Okay, so what?
I only wore things on the plane. I only wore stuff on the plane.
So what? No, the point that I'm making is that no one really did. And my friends laughed at me about it as well, right? Because I wore goggles, I wore the face shields. I spent a lot of money, and then I cursed out my family. I spent my unemployment money buying masks for people, right, in my family, especially because my brother's in San Francisco, and it's really bad in California, right? Especially in states where you have a lot of non-Black and brown people. And so my only point is the science was there, but everything is open to perception as long as you have.
All I'm asking you is to back it up. That's all I'm asking you to do. No, you didn't. I want you to bring publication. Okay, then we can argue all day. I'm just asking you to bring the science to show it, because the science does not prove it.
The science did, and you're doing what you did during the pandemic. You're still not listening, which is why it still looks the same.
Which is why what?
I still love you.
Which is why what? Which is why what?
You didn't listen to the science when it was.
Huh?
She said why it still looks the same is what she
said. What
looks
the same?
Because you didn't listen to
the science. What looks the same?
The numbers.
The numbers don't look the same. The numbers are completely different. Exactly. Donatella, this is what I keep trying to say. All I'm asking you is to do the research, do the math. It's 200 times worse than it was then. You know why? Because vaccinated people are spreading it to each other.
Because they're not wearing a mask.
No, you know why it's 200 times worse? It's accumulation of a lot of things. It's people not wearing a mask, people not wearing eye protection.
But you said the numbers were the same. You just said the numbers were the same. This is the point I'm trying to make.
I say the numbers were the same. I said the science is the same.
No,
and again, you don't pay attention. It's 200 times worse.
If you rewind, you said the numbers were the same. But go ahead. You can keep telling me I don't listen. You keep telling me I don't listen. Keep saying it.
Times worse because people are outdoors now, attending large events.
People were outdoors last year too.
Not the way.
But the children. So listen. Okay. Children were still being held hostage last year. Okay,
so were adults with brains.
So hold on.
There are 350 million vaccines that have been administered. Why are we still getting infected left and right? Why?
Because the variant changed.
And there's a new variant called Mu in Los Angeles.
Okay, so what's the long-term plan?
You know why we keep getting variants? Because people did not get vaccinated.
No, that's not why. That's not why. No, that's not why. Your vaccine addresses a specific strand of COVID. That's why. That's why you're going to continue. It does not for the immune. You're gonna
have had a chance to change and manifest.
No, you're gonna get a new vaccine. They're gonna have to create that y'all gonna have to take for mu. You're gonna have to take another one. You're gonna be taking 3 vaccines a year.
So for the record, because I got COVID, and based off of what they've said today, if you get your 2 shots and you had COVID, I already got my booster shot.
Who said that?
I already.
That's what Biden said.
Go do the research. It was on the news this morning.
Who said it? I'm just saying. Who said it?
It was a doctor.
I'm not disapproving you.
It was on ABC. It was on ABC this morning, and they were like. I can't remember the doctor.
Hold on. What I'm saying is, let's differentiate. Is this what a doctor said, or is this what the law is going to be? That's what I was asking.
I didn't hear what Biden said. This is what a doctor said. And a doctor was saying.
No, that's what I'm asking, because Biden came out with mandates saying, so if Biden is saying that if you have 2 vaccines and you have COVID, you're good, then we understand, okay, that's what they're looking for. or is it
I never.
doctors?
So I don't
You
know what
should.
Biden. I don't know what Biden said today, but that's what a doctor
Okay.
said today. He said that on Good Morning America. Biden hadn't spoken yet, and I've been busy doing all this other stuff. But he said what he said was if he implied, and he said
Well, that's different.
if you have 2 shots and you had COVID, you already had the antibodies. That's what he said.
But not
And,
everybody.
and what if you didn't have 2 shots?
Yeah, not everybody who has COVID gets antibodies, though.
I'm
Yes,
telling
they
you
do.
what he said.
Yes,
I'm
they
not.
do.
I know,
Everyone that gets COVID has antibodies.
No, the young lady that's here that had it really bad. I know some other people. Every time they've gone to get tested for antibodies, it has never come back positive.
So did they have COVID?
Did they have COVID?
Yeah.
They got tested for COVID?
Yeah.
I had it. I got tested for the antibodies. That's why I wouldn't get the vaccine until the end of April, because I was like, it's been 6 months. I didn't want them to clash against each other. And
I've already got my invitation for my 3rd shot.
When did you get yours? Because I didn't finish getting mine until May, so I'm good.
I've been vaccinated since March.
Yeah, so that's why your 8 months is almost up. Mine is.
Well, no. So the invitation. So here in New York.
Come on, go get jabbed, Donatella. Don't say, "Oh no, you up, baby, you up, you ready to It's time for you to go get jabbed. Go get some more jabbings."
I absolutely am, especially when I'm being in close proximity to you.
Absolutely, you better get them jabbings. You better get them. My antibodies protect me from you.
We was at his restaurant. We was at the restaurant 2 weeks ago.
My antibodies protect me from you.
Nobody got sick from our class reunion, and nobody has come down with it. So no, I'm just saying. So
I'm just saying, you better go get your jabbings with Donatella, because from what I understand, you ain't had COVID. So you need to make sure you're protected. And you see, look, and this is what I try to tell you guys, right? Donatella, hold on, let me talk. You people that wanted vaccine, I even helped y'all get vaccine. I told y'all where to go when the vaccines. Are you crazy?
Your sister got me my vaccination.
Listen,
from the Manhattan's boroughs office.
I say you people. Okay, you people. Take it however you want it. I put it on Facebook. Go on my Facebook page. You will see that I said, if you are interested in this vaccine, I can get you vaccinated. I have doctors that were vaccinating people. So I'm not against people. If you feel it's gonna make your life better, I'm all for it. I'm just saying, don't demonize people that don't want it.
I'm not.
Leave them alone.
So wait, okay. Listen. I am not an anti-vaxxer. However, with my children, I didn't follow that vaccine shot record. So for me, this goes farther than anything. They got their shots, but they wanted to poison my children with all these shots, like 2 months. I'm like, no, we waited until 4 months. We waited until the very end. So especially with my son, because I do believe shots cause autism. Like I do believe it does something, or does something to your child where your child, it wakes up something in their system or whatever. So when they started talking about vaccines for COVID, I was like, nah, I'm not. I need more time. I waited. And here was the other thing. I needed my children, at least one of my children, to be able to get vaccinated, because I'm like, how am I going to be vaccinated and my kids are not going to be vaccinated? I didn't understand that. So as soon as my 16-year-old could get vaccinated, we all went and got vaccinated. Then my 13-year-old can get vaccinated like 2 weeks after us. Then she got hers. So I'm skeptical of all things that get injected into my kid's body and into my body. So I'm not an anti-vaxxer, but I had to do stuff for myself, and I had to make sure that I was not going to hurt anybody else, because again, I did not want to have COVID again. I do not want to have that again.
No one should. And all I'm for is for peace. I need peace. I need people to do what makes them feel happy, and stop worrying and stop being paranoid about shit that don't concern them. What I do with my kids is nobody else's business. Absolutely. It is nobody else's business. If you fucking scared because my kid ain't vaccinated, that's your problem, not my problem. And that's the problem with this country. People think because, it affects me. No, fuck that. No, I'm not putting that shit in them because of you. That has nothing to do with you. So let's just learn how to live in peace.
But okay, so I don't have children, but this sounds like the same, sounds similar to the argument that I've heard parents have that didn't want to get those required shots for kids to start school, and the kids are among the other kids. Remember when you had to get,
The
when
measles.
you turned to measles and chickenpox and all that stuff, and the demographic of people who don't believe in that kind of
It's just different. It's different.
No, so I think people should make the decisions that they have to for their children. But if you decide, this is where I come in with choice, right? So I live in this apartment building that's 27 floors, 467 units. The other bad part was what New York State did when they said, okay, if you're vaccinated, you can go out without a mask. If you're not vaccinated, wear your mask. But no one was policing it. And that is what opened Pandora's box and caused people who are vaccinated to get vaccinated as well, even fully vaccinated.
I agree.
Because every time I get in my elevator, I put on my mask, because there are people that I've heard say they're not going to get vaccinated. And no. There are people that I've heard say they're not going to get vaccinated, and they're in the elevators without vaccination. I stay on top of my building because my building has a sauna and a steam room. I see those same motherfuckers in the sauna and steam room with their clothes on, with waist trainers on, and I'm like, wait a minute, we're talking about something that emits through your skin, and you're in here in a steamer unvaccinated, right, with your aura steaming up the place. So I wrote my building and I said, listen, I'm going to tell you in writing, if I catch COVID after all the poop that I talk and all the money I've spent to keep safe, because it's traveling through my vents, or because you're letting people walk around with their face exposed, I'm going to sue you guys. And that's how things spread, and you get people who are vaccinated. Because if I'm standing in the middle of 20 people who have the Delta variant or just have COVID, 9 times out of 10, I'm going to catch it, even if I'm vaccinated, because it's going through every orifice of my body. So, I don't know what the answer is.
Where does personal responsibility come in play? If you are afraid of COVID, why do you put yourself in 100,000 people? If you're afraid of it, this is what I'm saying, right? I'm not talking about you personally, but people that are afraid of this, don't go and sit yourself in the middle of a concert with 100,000 people. Stay at home. Those people that want to go out there, it's like, listen, you assess the risk. If you want to put your life in that kind of danger, that's on you. Right. And it's totally okay. So you have.
But that's not what the law is. That's not what the law is. The law
only in listen, but that's not humanity.
The law, no, that's not. That's how selfish humanity is.
No, it's not. That's not humanity.
Vaccinate. No, humanity is love for mankind. That's totally different.
You know what? Russia canceled all mandates.
Well, Russia cancels everything.
You quote Russia? Don't quote
Sweden.
Russia.
Sweden can. Okay, Sweden. How about Sweden? Can I quote Sweden? Can I quote Denmark?
That's fine, but don't quote Russia.
But listen,
okay, Russia. Vietnam. How about Vietnam?
But that's the problem, right?
What?
It's very important that you look at the word that you used.
What?
You said that's humanity. We have a lack of humanity in America. You see it
absolutely
when people of color are getting shot for no reason. They're getting beaten.
Tuskegee experiment.
People who, if you look at social media, people are just unbothered and unfazed by violence, sickness, anything that 20 years ago would have been appalling. As a matter of fact, people get off on posting it now because of monetization on social media, likes and follows, right? And it breaks my heart. But it comes down to the fact, and I say this all the time in my building, and I get into little tips and tasks with people. The basic thing that was supposed to happen is love thy neighbor. And so now, because nobody cares about their neighbor, Big Brother is taking every advantage to get us here and there. It's problematic.
It ain't got nothing to do with that.
You can't even apply for a job now. You can, but at my level, you can't apply for a job at my level, really, if you're not vaccinated.
Let me explain a personal situation with you, right? I'm obese. It's 99 degrees outside. I have my mask on. I'm having trouble breathing. So should I now hold on? You talking about somebody not listening. Hold on.
I'm listening.
So should I now die of a stroke because I care that, oh my God, if I take this mask off, I might affect somebody
No,
else?
no, you know what you do? You use your brain, because I know you have a really,
No,
really
I'm
good
just
one.
asking you a question.
No, you should not.
Should I take my mask off or not?
You should not die. But here's common sense, right? And I walked up to many elderly people I saw who looked like they were about to pass out.
Donatella, I hate when you do this. I ask you a direct question. I don't want to talk about all the people. I just gave you an example. Just tell me.
My answer. If you listen, you'll get it.
You're not because you're not answering my question. You're talking about old people.
So the answer: old people, fat people, people with masks that cannot breathe.
Me. I asked you a direct question about me. What do I do? Do I take off my mask or I leave it on and die?
JoJo's coming to protect you in the background.
Because you dancing around. You Sugar Ray Leonard in me. Don't Sugar Ray Leonard me, baby.
If you ever be quiet, Muhammad Ali.
No, because I give you a chance and then you start dancing around the ring. Just answer me, baby.
Because it's common sense. If you're obese,
what's the common sense?
Breathe. You lift your mask so you can breathe wherever you are. That's what they tell you to do.
Okay, you just gave him an answer, Bub. Y'all were you around a lot of people outside? Because outside you don't wear a mask.
What are you talking about? When you walk in, if I'm in Canal Street buying fish, and it's 99 degrees,
and it's
right? And I can't breathe. I'm having trouble breathing.
Pause. Let me ask you a question.
You're supposed
Are there a lot of? Is it crowded? Because
you're supposed to wear a mask.
I just told you Canal Street. Canal Street is very crowded.
I don't know.
Canal Street is very crowded. It's very crowded.
The mandate.
So the mandate in New York. Okay. I got you.
To wear a mask.
So
doing it.
So when you move away after you get the fish or whatever, and are you still always crowded? Like, is there not an opportunity for you to take it off and walk by? Because when I was in the city, I walk out my hotel room, I drop my mask. Out the hotel, I drop the mask. There's nobody around me. People walking in New York with no mask on, period. But my mask was
listening to the mandate. And
I'm talking about just 2 weeks ago. I'm talking about 2 weeks ago.
There's not a mandate that you.
Okay,
so I take that back. The mandate right now is if you're vaccinated, you don't have to wear a mask. If you're not vaccinated, you should wear a mask. But what is happening is the vaccinated people who don't want to catch stuff, they have the mask on outside.
Right. So I don't want to catch anything, but if there's nobody around me, I pull my mask and I do that in Texas.
Jojo, okay, I want y'all, because you see, the way Donatella talks, you wouldn't believe that I don't. Jojo, do we wear masks or not? Thank you.
Yeah, you wear a mask sometimes.
And then what I'm saying is irresponsible to make people, if you're not wearing masks the way you feel like, because I don't look like RoboCop, doesn't mean I don't wear masks.
Listen, Bub, we're going to be very specific. Your staff for the last 18 months.
Now I said talk about me. Now you're talking about my staff.
It's the same thing.
It's not the same thing. And then this is why I got issue with you. Why we gotta go to that level?
Because you don't listen and neither do they. It's the same.
Oh. Okay, guys, at Amarachi, you see, and that's what I'm saying. So should I show footage of right now everybody in Amarachi with a mask on?
You're not listening. We're not talking about right now.
You just brought my staff into it.
Why did your staff used to get mad at me? What did your staff call me?
Don't let me even tell you that truth. Let's not even go there. See, I'm not gonna go there like you gonna go there. I don't need to go there.
But we're having a conversation.
Because I don't need to go there. You asked me a question that I can answer, and I don't want to answer it.
Well, I'm gonna answer it for you.
Okay, go ahead.
They call me mask police. They call me the adjective with a B. But that's what you hired me for, was it not?
Okay. No, I didn't hire you for that.
Now you're lying.
Okay.
So anyway, like I said, if people wore the mask the way they were supposed to, and Fauci even said, if you're having trouble breathing, because there literally were elderly and people with underlying issues, and I'm from the South, so that's almost everybody in my family, right? Take the mask off so you can breathe. Lift it up. The amount of people that I had to walk up to and be like, are you okay? No, I can't breathe with the mask. Take the motherfucker off. Nobody is telling you to drop dead.
Can I say something? Because we're all over the place. Not all over here, but I live where I live. I did not experience hardly anything you guys are sharing with me. It is absolutely, I understand the dynamic between you two because you guys lived a different life than I did. Like I did not have to see people We drive everywhere, like literally everywhere. We leave a house, we don't get in the elevator. We don't go to public saunas. We don't do all that. So part of what's wrong in America is that we're putting shoes on the feet of people who are not in
Thank
the
you.
same boat. I will
Thank
say
you.
that. Let me say this though. Schools should be mandated to wear masks. Period. Point blank. That is teachers and children.
And I will
say
not.
that.
I will not fight you on that. I will not fight you on
say
that.
that. Period. But when I'm listening to you guys talk, going to get fish and it's crowded, and being in the elevator and doing all those things.
I have friends in Texas, and even somebody who was my client for a little while, they have a different story. It's all about where you live, how suburban your area is, dare I say your economic level as well, right? So, and I have about 10,000 followers on Snapchat, right? So a lot of the Texas people that I communicated with on a daily basis, they were pissed as hell to have to wear masks. Some of them were small business owners. And, you know, even there's one lady who's pretty popular in Texas that during the riots, they totally just demolished her store. Now, I want to make it clear that where I think these mandates just for like simple health issues, what I think is unfair is that the funding for small businesses, to me, needs to be a lot more than it is. I drove through Lower Manhattan, which I don't consider small business area, and the meatpacking district. I cannot even recognize the amount of businesses that are no longer there.
I noticed that in the city.
So this mandate.
That's what mandates do.
No, absolutely. And so this mandate point where we are now, and this is what I was trying to say earlier. I think we're headed for a really dark winter for a lot of reasons. These mandates, lack of additional funding, right? Because there's a lot more violence in New York and Brooklyn and Manhattan this year versus last year. Number one, last year people were kind of inside, and number two, everybody was getting this boost of money from unemployment, and you know, drug sales are down. We're gonna have another problem now because weed is now legal, right? So the people who were getting their source of income from selling weed on the corner, not making so much money now. You can go buy weed anywhere you want and smoke it, right? But these small businesses, if you have people who don't want to get vaccinated, who own businesses, and now you're telling them the livelihood, the American dream that you achieved, you can now lose it because you're not vaccinated. I think that is incredibly wrong and incredibly sad.
I agree.
Right?
Guys, we're on the same page on that, but you know, you understand the survival rate of COVID is like 99.8% right now. And what I'm saying is, why are we destroying the world for something that has a survival rate of 99.8%? People are not dying from this thing. They're overhyping, overblowing. People are going to get sick. That's why we have hospitals. That's why we have doctors. Disease is part of humanity. Some will succumb to it. We're not going to save everybody.
It's not a death thing to me, if you really want to know the truth. It's what happened for my kids. It's what happens later to them. Like your baby's got it, right? Did they did get it.
Who,
no?
what?
Did
what?
Your baby
Are you? Come on, man.
Listen. About the vaccination.
I'm not talking about the vaccination. I'm talking about COVID. Chill out, dude.
Yeah. I'm just saying. I'm just saying, you know, I would not. If I want, if I won't eat shit, I'm not gonna give shit to my parents. Okay, or my kids.
I knew.
First of all,
look, I will box you down. Don't
you didn't
come
say
for
it.
Me. I did say it.
You said, I know you didn't do it, or something like that. You said that. You didn't say what it was.
Got it. I said, I know you got it.
You
and
got
the
it.
Kids got it, right?
That could mean a million of things.
But dude, I know you don't have a doggone vaccine. You clearly get out of here.
I told you.
Try again.
Listen.
My point is this. Hold on. Let me just make this quick.
Go ahead.
I have, you're saying, it's a survival rate, is this, is that. I have friends that survive that have long-term issues, like huge long-term issues.
No taste, no smell.
No blood clots. had
Oh,
to go
yeah.
to rehab right
Yeah.
now. Got it the same time I did. Wait a minute.
Mhm.
I'm more afraid. I'm older, right? So I've lived my life. I'm like, okay, well, if something happens to me because I got COVID or because of this shot, I've lived my life. My fear, everything I think about is them damn kids.
Right.
So if they get COVID, they could survive it, but they're athletes. They play the trumpet. They do this, they do that. How is that going to affect them later? Why would I
Mhm.
want my 8-year-old to get it today? Now, unfortunately, your baby's got it, but they got the regular COVID. They didn't get the Delta one. They ain't get Mu. They didn't get Alpha, Beta, Gamma. Y'all got the original one.
Ayana,
So-
and can I explain one thing? And the only reason why they don't have Mu and Delta is, guess what? They have the antibodies.
I'm not arguing.
That's
I'm not
what's
arguing the
protecting them.
vaccine. I am not arguing
No,
the vaccine.
I'm just saying they have a defense mechanism that's
if you-
shielding them from getting
Okay.
the variants.
But
Right?
my babies don't have it, so I'm not going to go
But-
expose them to it, and so that they can get it, and then we have to worry about what happens to them
You're
later.
missing the point.
But I'm not missing the point, but it's the same point as why I'm not taking the vaccine. See, listen, vaccines are safe for 80% of the population, whatever percent, but they are still causing severe side effects. And
All
all, right? And this particular one has some serious side effects. That's why I have not vaccinated them.
What are the side effects? I'm literally right here in front of you. I haven't had one. I had side effects from COVID.
Not everyone's gonna get them.
Yes,
Not everyone's gonna get them.
Exactly.
Side effects.
I know, but I'm just.
But there are people. But Ayana, there are people that are gonna get them. Look, just from the CDC alone, right? And this is with their known attempt to hide numbers. There are over 7,000 people dead today as a direct result of the vaccine.
How many people are in the hospital today? How many people in the hospital
now
today?
let me take it further. There are 488,000 incidents. And what is an incident? That is when someone took the vaccine and called the CDC to report that they were either severely affected, mildly affected, or affected in any way. 488. That's 500,000 people.
Out of
how many people who got the shot?
20 million out of 30
no,
million.
but you're not exactly. But what I'm saying is, it happens, guys.
No,
We're not talking about 10 people. It happens. And what I'm saying is that 500,000 scares me. Okay, that 500,000. If I go get vaccinated,
that 650,000 that died is fearing too.
I'm not afraid of that because they have something to defend themselves against that. They don't have nothing to defend themselves against putting something in their body that can cause. That's what you're not understanding. They have something that's protecting them right now. So what do I look like?
Your babies definitely.
What I'm saying is my babies. I'm not talking about people without antibodies.
Yeah. I agree.
That's what I said. People have to do what makes you feel safe.
And nobody's
and I can't go from safe to now putting a risk. I'm not putting a risk in them.
But she's not saying
even if it's a 1% risk. No, I'm just.
Oh, because I didn't say that to you.
I'm not saying you. I'm just explaining what we're talking about. That's why I haven't done it, because I'm going from I'm having something that's fighting to I'm going to inject them with something that could possibly, not guaranteeing that they will not be okay, but the numbers say there.
But COVID could do the same
500,000 people.
We agree with you, but there's a question that was raised an hour and 20 minutes ago that you never answered, and I'm not sure if you know the answer.
Let me hear.
What are you going to do with exiting the country, not being vaccinated for COVID, and how are you going to come back? Because
I do. Okay, in a perfect world, I will tell you today, I do not need to come back. There's nothing here.
Oh, I got a party for the 22nd.
No, seriously. Seriously. In all seriousness.
That's the point I wanted you to hear.
In all seriousness, there's nothing.
I'm gonna have separation anxiety.
There's nothing seriously that, like, this is not what I signed up for. I'm telling you, and I mean it from the bottom of my heart. When I came here,
Can we give you a goodbye party?
Nah,
see,
it ain't. Nah, listen,
hold on,
listen,
hold on.
listen. Look, I'm not. I ain't say I'm going to lose y'all's friend. Do you understand? My whole job has been to bring y'all to Africa. That's been my whole
Right,
mission
but
here,
that's a different. You're talking about
right?
a different topic.
So, but
We're talking
let's
about a
no.
different
It's
topic.
all in the same.
No,
It's
no,
all.
no. So,
This is just accelerating my
right.
mission.
No. But the
Because when you come to visit and you're like, oh my God, what
I
the
can't
fuck
wait.
am
I
I
got a
doing in
passport. We'll get
America?
So first
stamps.
of all, the fundamental question was a little bit less than that, right?
What's that? What's that?
So the fundamental question was, have you looked into the fact of what will happen if you leave the United States going internationally, especially to a black and brown country, right? Without having a COVID shot a COVID vaccine in terms of coming back.
We know
Okay,
you're
like I told
about
you
to come
before.
back.
Okay. So
We know
let's
that.
talk about coming back, right? So I do fully expect at some point in the next 180 days, let's take it like that, they will mandate that you will not be able to travel without a COVID vaccine.
They've already started saying
All right. I understand. I'm fully aware of that. If I get caught out, right, there are two things that can happen. I either get the shot if there's a need for me to come back, which I just don't see why I would want to do that. Or I will get something that tells whoever's looking that I have been vaccinated. Right? I will give them whatever proof they need.
So we're gonna leave that topic because I don't like where this
Yes.
is going, and we're gonna go to
Yes.
something else.
Yes.
And
No. Listen.
We're not putting this on.
and I'm sure you would rather
Listen.
had to be vaccinated and to happen in Africa.
Look, it's what I'm saying is not, and this is what I'm saying. So, in understanding that, it's not that serious for me to come back. Fucking y'all. There's nothing here
We're clear.
that
We're
important.
clear. So you answered the
Because
question.
the mission, is to bring you over home. The mission has always been to bring my people home. So that is always the mission. So the longer I'm there, the bigger the space I'm creating for y'all to come and find somewhere to lay your head and rest and enjoy life the way God intended you to enjoy it as first class citizens of this universe.
So just remember, right? I messed around and let my passport expire, but my Nigerian visa is still good.
But listen, y'all vaccinated. Y'all can travel the world. Y'all can do whatever y'all want. So you will be able to travel.
No, because I'm also thinking as myself, right? It's one thing. I was bullied into getting vaccinated early because of my family, right? That's the family that I come from. No matter how much me and my mother argue, I still listen to her, right? But now, as more variants come out, and one of the points I wanted to make earlier, the whole idea of a virus is that as the virus advances, it mutates. And it's part of a virus thing to make variants, right? So I have also been asking myself, just how many times a year do I anticipate I want to get stuck with a needle?
Thank you. So let me just say this, right?
I'm done.
Donatella, you go to Nigeria today and you live in Nigeria. In 1 year, you will be a millionaire. The level of business as a consultant, people will come to you to do things. Same thing with you, Ayana. There's a brain drain back home. They are looking for Black American, highly intelligent people to come and bring their country up to the world stage. And this is what I'm saying. We understand the need. And I'm saying, why are we staying here? What are we getting out of being here?
So there are two things.
There's no money in this country. We don't make nothing.
So there are two things, right? Having been to Nigeria, I will say you're absolutely correct. And actually, I got a call for a project in Nigeria today. And I think it's like even in America, you can come to America and you can see America with a pauper, and you can come to America and you can see it with someone who's well connected. And for me, I knew to go back to Nigeria to live, I'd have to have the same, and people do, don't get me wrong, the same level of comfort and luxury.
And that's what's happening right now.
I will say Ayana, I did, in the end of 2019, I lost my career job of 10 years. I lost my best friend, which today is her anniversary. She died from cancer. And the next month, 3 months in a row, I lost my 97-year-old grandmother. And so the only thing that saved my life, my friend/client took me to Nigeria and to Dubai with her. And I will say, when I went to Nigeria, I called some of my Nigerian friends that I had for decades. I finally understood the history of why Black Americans, and bless you, Nigerians have this conflict, because we don't understand each other's history, and we don't have appreciation for it. And I also learned from traveling to Nigeria, if you are a woman of color and you have any type of doubt in yourself as a person, the best thing you can do for your ego and your person is to go to Africa. Because Nigerian, and I'm going to say Nigeria because that's the part that I was in, but Africa has a love for Western women of color that is unparalleled. I never felt so beautiful, so intelligent, so appreciated. And honestly, there's a bit of colorism there as well. So if you are lighter skinned, it's like you glide across the planet, which was sad to me as well, right? But yeah, I definitely I wanted to be in Nigeria now by November.
It's like the work that's needed to be done. We can't no longer wait for someone else to do it. We have to be the ones doing it. And all I'm saying is that there's tremendous opportunity, growth opportunity, financial opportunity. The next billionaires are going to come out of Africa.
Oh, yeah.
This place is overly saturated. The cost of living in New York at $4,000 for a 2-bedroom is unsustainable. Even if you're building those, you don't have people to rent them. Look at all those high rises; they're vacant. Nobody can afford to be in there. So yeah, they had the money to build them, but they're not making the money they thought they were going to make because there's nothing to support it. So
guys, I've got to come out of the people's kitchen so the employees
No, listen, it's been a fantastic show. We've been on here 2 hours. We fought, we laughed, we give them a little bit of everything, right? And we still here loving each other. So we're gonna do this again next Thursday. Right by me, bub. You know what I'm saying? Listen. What is life without conflict, right? You know what I'm saying? It's all good. You know what I'm saying? It's all good. We could do this.
Appreciate you guys allow me to join you, and I look forward to next week.
And we appreciate you playing referee. You not gotta mix. Listen, last year she was the referee between me and what's his name. So maybe this year you gotta be a little referee between me and Donna.
I think this is great. The scene here is awesome. Now we just need to take this content, download it, and splice it up and shoot it out to the world.
And also, like I said, tomorrow, in the coming shows, like I said, it's good to have conversation, but I want to also introduce data. I want to really bring data, because if one thing we are known for is we really speak and we can talk a lot, but do we really read? Do we look at data? Are we talking from a perspective of that acknowledges the science of what we're talking about? And all I'm going to do is, and like I said, it's not just me. I'm asking y'all to bring out the data to support the argument, so people,
how the vaccine was made and how long it's been made.
For anything,
10 years.
Like this. Yeah, absolutely. You know what I'm saying? We could talk about it. Yeah. We could talk about it, but let's show it. You know what I'm saying? So we're going to be able to add that now to our platform. And I think it's going to be good because people could say and see with their own eyes the data. They're not just taking my word for it, and not taking your word for it or her word for it, because we want people to formulate their own opinion. At the end of the day, we're not sheep. You know what I'm saying? We all have our own opinion. That's the spice of life. We all do things our own way. We all interpret life differently. And we should be like that. We shouldn't just be one monotonous herd of people being led down by this leader, Life don't work that way. So I thank you guys for spending 2 hours with us, and we'll see you again next week. I hope everybody watching have fun. Please like, subscribe, and share the post. We had about 100 viewers, and when me and Don started fighting, they all ran away. But okay, we got you next time.
Oh, see, I can't see.
I can't see you. That's
I
fine.
can't see. Okay. We'll see you
All
next
right,
week.
y'all. Take
All
care.
right. Bye-bye.